on Postal. Welcome to all my Postal freaks. I hope you had a good tour 1, tour 2, tour 3, whatever tour you're on. I hope you had a great tour. So I was thinking today that we need to have a conversation, about what if your paycheck is fucked up. Now, this is not just for new people. This is also for regulars who've been, in the system a while. And you've been going along fine, and then one day you notice your check is kind of like really effed up. Now, for the new people, especially if you just started working, they haven't given you a time card yet. So you have to write down your time and then give it to a supervisor, and they have to manually put that shit in. It will fuck you up. But for the regulars who've been there, sometimes you swipe, maybe your card didn't work, maybe the machine was fucked up that day. You never know, but you know what you did, so you should be able to address that. Now, since the post office has this new system, which is your virtual time card that you can log on to your light blue, and you can see this, then you can be able to go, okay, I worked whatever. It'll show you before tour, your end tour, your out lunch. It'll even show you if somebody went in there and adjusted time for you or whatever. It'll show you that. Now, these are for people who just started working, this section right here, and you don't have a time card. So you would not be able to see your virtual time card because you're not swiping. So let's say you just started working. I suggest what you do is that when you come into work, they're supposed to give you a 1260, right? So you're supposed to write it down. A 1260 is a form that you write down your time. So you write down your begin tour, what time you came in. You write down the time that you went to lunch, the time you came back from lunch, and the time that you ET, which is when you end your tour. And you're supposed to give it to a supervisor, and they're supposed to put your time in. Now, you're supposed to do this every single day that you do not have a card. Do not wait to the end of the week when the window closes for that pay period and try to bombard the stupid supervisor with all that work. Because what happens is they have all the crap they have to do, excuse me, and they may forget to do it and forget to put in your time, and then you get a check or you don't get a check, and then you sit there looking stupid. Don't do that. Also, if you're going to do a 1260 and write your time down, I suggest that you take a picture of your 1260 before you give it to anybody. So if you give it to a supervisor, you have a copy in your phone that says, on this day, the 19th, I worked my 8, 10, 12 hours. On the 19th or the 20th, you have a copy, a physical copy in your phone of every day that you worked. So let's say that you did that, and let's say that you gave it to the supervisor, and they supposedly put in your time, and then you get your check, and you're going, well, what the fuck is this? I worked like 80-something hours, and this bitch said I worked 60. What the fuck is going on? Now, I'm going to tell you like this. Do not go find your shop steward. That is not the first step that you do. Your shop steward cannot help you initially with the fact that your check been fucked up. You need to go back to your supervisor and say, hey, see my check? This shit says I did 60 hours. Now, that's when you're going to pull out your copies on your phone of your 1260 and go, hello? Yeah, what happened? So now you have to sit down with that supervisor. And I'm telling you, make sure you find the time. Because if you don't, they're going to push you off and they're like, I'm busy. I don't give a fuck. Don't play when it comes to my money. Make sure you have that mentality. This is my money. You want me to work. Don't play with my money. So you have to go into the system and look at your time. Now what happens is, for each pay period 1 week, that week ends on a Friday at midnight. So the time's supposed to go in, and then what happens, as all of you know, the new pay week starts on a Saturday, and then it's from Saturday to the following Friday. They have to put that time in for that week that you've already worked for that Friday. If they forget or they fuck it up, that window closes in the system, and then the new week opens. So a lot of times they can't go back into the old week, especially if it's 2 or 3 days out. And especially if you got your check, which was already about a week and a half out. They can't do anything. They'll have to do what's called a pay adjustment, right? We'll get to that later. So let's say you sit down with a supervisor, and the supervisor says, oh, well, I don't know what happened because I put the time in. Show me. Show me. They can go back in the system and they can look and see what they did for you when they put your time in. So let's say they put it in and they messed up something. Instead of putting on a particular day that you worked, it was supposed to say 25. They put in 15. Oops, my bad, I fucked up. So now they have to address the fact that they shortened your check. Now, it ain't finna be as easy as you think it is. Don't think they finna cut you a check right then and there. Now, I'm gonna have to say this. There are some locations, some stations, and some plants, and still very rare, that they actually have somebody physically there that will make a pay adjustment and cut you a check within a day or two and give it to you. I haven't seen it in a long time. I don't even know if they're still doing it like that. I know that back in the day, they used to. Where I'm located at the plant that I'm at and other plants that I know of, there is no pay adjustment that they're going to give you within a day or two and hand you a check. That has to go through human resources, through the payroll. They have to cut you a whole new check, and then they have to send it back down to the location that you work, and that actually takes a whole nother pay period. So don't sit there and think you're going to get your little money within a day or two because you need to pay the light bill. You better do a payment extension, baby, because it ain't going to happen, all right? So if that is what happened and they adjusted that for you, they have to go back into the system, adjust what they're supposed to pay you, and cut you a check. Now, depending on how many hours it is, they may just go ahead and may attach it to your new pay period. But if it's a lot of shmoney, let's say they just fucked up a whole week, they have to cut you a whole new check, which means they have to do the adjustment in the system, fill out a pay adjustment form, send that shit on to upper management, usually through the plant manager, send that shit on the payroll, and then they will cut you a check. Now, what you need to do to make sure you keep account of where the fuck your money is you go ahead and you call the number. Call the USPS hotline, and you press the option for payroll. Speak to someone in payroll and say, hey, they messed up my check. I've already spoken to a supervisor. They're doing a pay adjustment or whatever. When will my check be cut? They can actually give you a little bit more information, and they'll tell you, well, as soon as we receive this, this, and this is what's going to happen. And then they'll mail the check out to your location. They won't mail it to your house. They will mail it to where you work, because that's where postal mail goes, because you're a postal employee working at a postal facility who's getting a postal check. They will send it to your facility, not to your house. Okay? All right. So while that's going on, and you're still probably waiting for a card, and they messed up your check, at this point, there's nothing you can do. If you've notified the supervisor has done an adjustment for you, and that has been pushed along down the pipeline, only thing you can do is wait. Now, let's flip the script. Let's say they fucked your check up bad. I'm talking about fucked it up. And you honestly probably got a check for like $30 damn because they fucked your check up so bad. Now, you do the same thing. You take your ass to the supervisor and say, hey, what's wrong with my check, bro? This don't look right. I got the time that I work. What the fuck did y'all just do to my check? Y'all just fucked it up. Now let's just say the supervisor's either a fucking clusterfuck and just scattering and just everywhere, and forgot to put your time in, or can't remember, or misplaced the paperwork that you gave them, or they're a dick, because it's one or the other, and they're giving you the bullshit runaround. Oh, well, I did it. Oh, I gotta do this. See, you talking too much, but my pockets. Talking too much. It ain't making sense. You know what I'm saying? The math ain't mathing. Okay? At this point, that's when you go to your shop steward, to your union, whatever crap you're in, and say, hey, I went to my supervisor. They fucked up my check. They giving me the runaround. Then you go to your shop steward, and then your shop steward will in turn have to go speak to that supervisor. Or we'll go a step above and go maybe speak to the MDO or someone in management about your check. Remember, if your check is fucked up, don't just run to the union. Please don't come to me about your check, baby. I don't care about your check. I can't do nothing. I don't have access to the system to go ahead and pay you your money. I can't do that. Always remember, when it comes to money issues, your check, they shorten you overtime, or they forgot to put in some type of stupid ass holiday pay, go to your supervisor first. Address it with them first, and then come back to the union if they're giving you the bullshit runaround, or if they were like, oh, I'm not going to pay you. That's when you come see us. That's when we have to go put our foot in somebody's ass to make sure you get paid. But see them first, because a lot of times if the supervisor sees a fuck up, or they forgot to put it in, or paperwork was misplaced, they will address it. But remember, they have to do a pay adjustment for you first. You're not just going to get the check cut, and you're not going to fucking just be going, oh, they're going to give me like, petty cash out the draw. That shit don't work, baby. This is not motherfucking Walmart, okay? Remember that. Now, for my seasoned veterans, my seasoned postal freaks who have been at the post office long enough, we don't allow that type of fuckery to happen, especially now that we have the virtual time card. I know a lot of people look at that shit literally every time they swipe in and out. So they usually stay on top of that because they don't want their money fucked up. Because seasoned postal freaks, we don't play by that money. But if something does happen, where let's say your holiday pay got fucked up, or you put in time for vacation and you put in annual and you turned in your 3971 for that to request time off and they fucked it up, or they use sick leave for your vacation instead of annual because that's not what you requested and you had it, you already know you're gonna do the same damn thing. Go harass the supervisor first and then come harass us. If they cannot help you, then you harass us. But I'm not too concerned about my seasoned postal freaks, because y'all usually handle y'all business by yourselves and stuff usually get done. So y'all usually don't come to the union or any representative of the union unless some shit is really bad that you guys can't handle on your own. But I digress. So remember, for my new postal freaks, if you're new into the system and you don't have a time card, please, please, please write down your time, your begin tour, your end tour, your out lunch, your in lunch. You don't have to write down your fucking breaks, baby. They don't need to know all that. But write that down, take a picture of it, give them the 1260 form, make sure that the supervisor puts it in. If you got to stand over that motherfucker's shoulder and breathe heavy into their ears, then you fucking do that and watch them put your time in. If they fuck up your time and you get your check and your check is short, go to the supervisor first. Let them try to handle the business. If it can't be handled, come see someone in your union so that we can try to handle it for you. But also, make sure you contact payroll and let them know your check was fucked up. And they'll guide you on how to go ahead and take that step to get it addressed. But it always still falls back on the supervisor because they're the ones that have access to the system and they're the ones that have to do the payroll adjustment. Okay? So remember, don't let nobody fuck with your money. You work too goddamn hard, so don't let them play with you and don't let them play with your motherfucking money. All right? So remember, my postal freaks, as always, love and light, peace.